Hello everyone, Cliff here in the shed. As the title of this video suggests, I'm going to be giving away a coin ring punch. And this is the very punch I'm going to be giving away. I just want to say a few words before I get on to demonstrating it and going into how I'm going to be giving it away. I started doing YouTube after having watched it for a few years, thoroughly enjoying the things I'd seen. I mean, I'm subscribed to dozens of channels. Some of my favourites are being sort of on the machinist side is John Mills and Double Boost and Zanudu, Robert Zanudu, but there's loads. There's Oxtool, there's plenty of them, and I've learnt an awful lot. I do really appreciate the time that some of these people have put into the videos that they've done, and I just thought I could play at it and do a few videos. First one I did was a ball turner for me lathe for the ML7. I wasn't very good at it. I'm not very good at it now, but I managed to lose the last part of that somehow. Got deleted somehow. And then the next one I did was I saw Sean Hughes doing engraving videos, and he showed us how to make a really simple pneumatic engraver, and I did videos on that, and I still think that's one of the best things I've ever seen. Not the one I did, him doing it and showing me how to make that, because it's a brilliant tool and quite simple to make. But anyway, I'm getting away from it a bit. And then I started doing videos on something that I've been doing for quite a long time, and that's coin ring making. I do the coin ring making, and I also, because when I started doing it, the tools just were only really available in America, and they were very expensive, so I made my own. And I've started to sell them. Well, I started a couple of years ago to sell them anyway. And having done the videos on YouTube, it's really the only advertising I do for the website where I sell the coin ring tools. So I sell them on eBay as well, but on the website I don't pay any eBay commission, so YouTube has done me quite a big favour in that respect. So part of the reason for this giveaway is I don't have to pay for advertising doing YouTube, so I'll give something back. And I'm not going to insult your intelligence. Obviously I want to bring more traffic to my website and to my YouTube channel, but at the end of the day someone will win, be drawn out of an hat and win this coin ring punch. So that's why I'm doing it. It's a double-edged sword. It might do me a bit of a favour, might get me some more subscribers, might bring more traffic to my website, and someone will win something. So, having got that out of the way, I'll get on and demonstrate the actual tool. Right, so here we are up the other end of the workshop, and I just want to take a minute to show you the tool and just go through it. So, let me zoom in. Right, so this is the tool that's up for grabs. It's what I call the #1 punch, and basically this one's made to do nothing bigger than an half crown, and this is how it comes. So it comes with a body, the cap, a 15mm punch and a 10mm punch, and the 10mm punch goes through these two sleeves. One goes in the top in the cap, and the other one fits into the bottom, the body. I've only recently started, I just oil harden the bottom one, just an oil blacket, just so that it's easy to differentiate the two, because In the past some people have made mistakes with them. So now the black one goes in the black body. This one is critical, it has to be perfectly lined up with the top of the actual body of the punch. The one that goes in the cap, that's not so important. It's just a guide for the punch to go through, and as long as it's smaller than the actual cap, that's fine. So they can be slightly variable in size. This body is made of steel, turned down, threaded, and this recess here will take a half crown, like that. Now, at the risk of boring you, I'm going to say something here. The actual published size of an half crown is 32mm. Now this half crown that I've always used as me benchmark for boring that out, if I measure it with my calipers, I'll just zero them because I know it's not 37. If I measure that, that's going 32.07 there. If I just turn it sort of 90 degrees, it's 32.01. So even an uncirculated coin isn't perfectly round. But like I say, and it's slightly oversized, it's slightly more than 32mm. So that's the one I use when I'm turning these out. Now what that will do, when you use a circulated coin, I mean this is a 1948 half crown, and it's pretty worn. I mean nearly all the million's gone off it, but that is what you're ordinarily going to come up against. And if I measure this one, that's coming up 31.85 there, and 31.79 at 90 degrees to that. So you're never going to get a perfectly round coin, and I mean that makes virtually no difference to it when you're punching the hole. But if you're brand new to it, you may expect them to be perfectly round. They're not. You'll always have a slight variation. It might only be 0.1, 0.2 of a millimetre, might be a bit more, it just depends. And if you're using pre-47 coins, which have got a much higher silver content, they are much more prone to wear. If they're particularly worn, you can just get a bit of tissue paper and press them into that, because I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but there is ever such a slight backwards and forwards in that. Can't odds it. I mean, coins are worn, coins are worn. Something I didn't do in the very first place when I started making these, the way they're made, I make the cap first, thread it, do what I've got to do to that, then I make the body, then I put the cap back on, drill them out to 14.75mm, and then ream the hole so they line up perfectly, because obviously that is important. Something I've been doing relatively recently is at the end of it I'll turn it round and take a couple of thousandths off this way, leave a little bit up there where the punch actually goes through. And the reason for that is when you do punch this through, you get the slug, the middle of the coin pushes down into the body. You can just get the punch and push it out. And the original ones I made, you had to knock it right the way through. Now you only have to knock it a little way down and then the slug will come out much easier, where I've bored it out a little bit bigger. But I'm just going to show you 3 ways that you can punch an hole in a coin. I'm going to use 3 old 10p's. These are old 10p pieces. I'm going to anneal them and then punch. One with a hydraulic press, one with the arbor press, and I'm going to do one in a vise just to show you different ways you can do it. You get these two rings, and they're either plastic or aluminium, depends what I've got. I've never really been sure which is best, plastic or aluminium. There's pros and cons for both of them. The aluminium ones are more easily damaged. If you bend one of them, it's buggered, whereas you have got a bit more give and a bit more leeway with plastic ones. And like I say, I just make them and they go out with whatever I make them out of at the time. But the point of them is, for the 2-bob, that fits into the top of the body, and the 2-bob fits tightly into that, and you screw the lid on. I'll just try and show you something. In the lid there's a recess, and then you've got this little diameter part here, and that's what clamps the coin, that's what holds the coin in place. So that just screws on. Now it's always wise to actually screw this down with all this in a vertical position, and just have a look down the hole just to make sure everything is flat, because it is possible, unlikely but possible, that bugger. Try that again. Right, it's unlikely, like I say, but possible that when you put the coin in, if you're jiggling it about and screwing the lid on sort of here or whatever, if the coin jumps out of the ring and you screw that down and you screw it down, it's quite possible to screw that down at an angle. It could be out of the ring. And if you do that, you'll still punch a hole in it, but you'll jam it all up and bugger it up. So it's always wise to screw the cap down in the vertical position, just holding the base, making sure the coin you're punching doesn't jump out, and just peer down and make sure everything is flat down there. Right, so that's it. That's what you get when you either buy one, and that is what you're going to get whoever wins this one. Incidentally, if you don't want to watch all this and you're bored with it, if you just fast forward to the end of the video, that's where I'll be telling you how to enter the competition to win one of these. I'm hoping to do a video at least once a month on coin ring making now, and I'm hoping to do a monthly giveaway. I want to give something away every month if it works and if it all works out alright. So anyway, there it is. You get the 2 reduction rings, the body, the cap, a 15mm punch and a 10mm punch, and the sleeves. And like I say, I'm going to show you 3 ways to punch an hole in a coin. I'm going to use these 10p's just because they're not a lot good, and I just want to do this as a demonstration. So I'm going to go over and anneal them now. So join me at the annealing station. Alright, so annealing is a pretty simple operation. You just need a blowtorch, somewhere to actually do it that's safe. Something to hold the coin with so you don't burn yourself. And something to quench the coin in. Someone did ask me recently what I quench my coins in, and 99% of the time I use water, just plain ordinary water. I just heat the coins up to a red, dunk them in the water. If I've got a particularly good coin, or I don't want to get it particularly dirty, you get a lot of fire scale during the process of making a coin ring. Sometimes I will use vinegar to quench them in, but not the ordinary vinegar. I mean, this is what I use. It's spirit vinegar. It's the vinegar you get for cleaning, not the one you put on your chips. So it's spirit vinegar you want to do it with. And what I'm going to do is I'll do 2 coins just in water, and I'll do one in the spirit vinegar just to show you the difference when I've done them. But for now I'll just do one. I'll film that just so you can see me doing it. Alright, so I've got my blowtorch in a little stand there that I made to do this. I'll just turn my gas bottle on. Right, I'll light the torch up now, but you probably won't be able to hear much what I say once I've lit the torch. There's my water. There's my little pot of spirit. And I'll just do 1 coin, and then we'll go back to the bench. I'll do the 3 off camera, and then we'll go back to the bench. Right, so I'm going to punch a hole in each of these 2 bobs. Doesn't really matter which way round you do this. You can put the ring in, the reduction ring that is, into the body of the tool, and then push the coin in it. I've probably done that the wrong way around. Ordinarily I would always put it in the punch. The way I'm... Shit, I'll leave that one down there. Ordinarily I'd punch it, so the way I'm going to push it and form it, and you generally want the date on the outside. This one is a 1968, so I'm going to put the date down and press it in there. Screw the cap on. Like I say, it's better if you keep it all level when you're doing it, just to make sure you don't jump out of the ring. You don't have to screw it down really tight, just screw it down, nip it up, make sure it's not loose, nothing rattling about. Have a look down the hole and make sure it's all flat down there and you haven't jumped the coin out of the ring and got it at an angle. I'm going to use the 15mm punch because that's the hardest punch, so I might as well do this the hardest way. And the punch just slides in till it touches the coin, and then you're ready to go with whatever method you're going to punch it with. First method I'm going to do is the hydraulic press. Right, so here we are at the hydraulic press. Now I do like to use something slippery on the punch. You can use anything, bit of ordinary oil, bit of grease, bit of Vaseline, Peppy Lube if you got it is pretty good, but I've been using this PTF spray lately and I find that pretty good. Just helps it go through and helps you getting the coin off of the punch when it gets a bit stuck on the punch. So with the hydraulic press, it's really no problem at all. Just bring the press down onto it pull down on your press. Let me just zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. Right, so I've got the tension on the actual coin now. I'm just going to pull down on the handle, and I tend to just leave it a couple of seconds or so between getting it to where it is, and then give it a bit more. And that's it, gone through, and that's it right through, and the slug should be pretty much out of that. So I'll go over to the bench and we'll unscrew this. Screw the cap off. Yeah, I went a little bit too far with that really. Take the ring off. And there's the slug in there. I'm just going to get an hammer and tap that through. I don't know whether the camera's going to pick this up. Let me see if I can zoom in just to show you what you can expect. This is brand new, this punch, and it is the first time it's been used. Let me walk round here and show you. Alright. This carrot's just not going to pick it up. There is a little tiny bit of metal shaving there. You want to shake it out. There you go. Can you see that on the camera? I don't know. It's just a little tiny bit of metal that's been took off the side of the punch. That's generally because when they're heat treated and you get the oil black on it, you do get a bit of expansion and contraction and what have you. It's not from around the top edge, it's just where it goes down into the punch, and because of the angle of the punch it sometimes does take a little bit off, but that's nothing to worry about. And there's the slug, because it's been pushed through beyond. So there's your slug. Right, so now we've got to get the punch off of the coin. So one of the easiest ways to do that is just put it in the bottom of the cup, the actual body, and then with a soft hammer, this has got a nylon head, this hammer. You don't really want to be using anything metal on the actual punch, but a nylon head punch is fine. And just tap it through like that. That's it, number one done. Now I don't like to say that one way is better than another way. I mean as my old dad used to say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. This is one way of doing it. Without doubt it's the easiest way to do it. And you'll see that when we move on to the arbor press next to me and punch one with that, which we'll get on with now. Right, so here's my arbor press. Some of you may have seen that I did a review on this when I got this. I got this last Christmas. I have made a slight alteration to it. I'll put this stainless steel bar in it, which is a bit longer than the original one. And it's a bit harder, excuse me. So I'll put a coin in there and put another 2 bob in there, just the same as before. I'm just going to give the punch a little bit of a spray up. And the way I do this is slightly different, because it's not easy to do a 15mm hole in a coin even when it's annealed with this. And this arbor press is just held in by the vice over there. Would be much better if it was bolted down, but it's not. It's held with that vice, and sometimes it jumps out. But what I tend to do is hang down on it a bit, turn the punch, not the whole thing, just the punch, just about a third of a turn. Hang down on it. I mean, this takes a fair bit of, well, turn the punch again, third of a turn. Turn the punch again, third of a turn. And again, third of a turn. And again, third of a turn. And again. And again. And there you go. It's a lot harder work, and it's about 26 degrees in my workshop at the moment, and that has made me sweat a bit, and I'm a bit of a fat bloke, so you know, if you're a bit lighter than me, hanging down on that, it's going to be a bit harder. But I'll just move around the back of the bench and move the camera, and we'll take this one out of the punch. Right, so just the same as before, unscrew the cap, wiggle that out. I mean, that went through a fair way when it did go through, but there you go, and the slug is in there, it's nearly out. There you go, you can take the slug out with your fingers. You used to have to bash them through before I ream them out a bit, and the same as before. Put that in there, nylon end of the hammer, and tap it through. And take it out of the ring. Right, so that's two methods of doing it. Now we've got two coins with holes in them. Just out of matter of interest, just zero that. Let's just measure this one. That's 6.6 millimeters. If I turn it around 90 degrees, 6.58. And the other side, this should be 6.56. 6.52, that's millimeters. I mean, I think the biggest one was about 6.6, was it? 5.956. So you're talking about 3/100ths of a millimeter out. They're never perfectly concentric, any coin, never ever, but a couple of hundredths of a millimeter really don't make no difference. Right, so that's them two done. Now the third way I'm going to do it is in a vice. Certainly not one I'd recommend, but we'll give it a go. I'll stick the this is the shiny one, the one that I quenched in the spirit. Put him in there, screw the top down. Like I say, you don't have to screw it down like your life depends on it, but you just want it tight. So let's go over to my vice and we'll give that a go. Right, my vice, this is a pretty sturdy old vice. And I'll say at the outset, this is the least recommended method. How about that? Give that a good lubing up. That punch in there. Right, and the to do it with a vice, obviously you've got to line it up with your jaws. Pretty much the same as doing the arbor press, except obviously you're in a different orientation. hang down on it, put a bit of pressure on it and turn the punch, not the whole thing, just the punch. Hang down on him. I won't cut none of this out, I'll do it in real time so that turn it. Turn the punch. I think we're nearly there. Well, I thought we were nearly there. Now we definitely are nearly there. Right, well, I think that's got it. Yep, that's through. Let's go back to the bench and have a look at it. Wore me out doing that. Right, well, here we are back at the bench. Wiggle him out. Yep, he's just about through. Just about through is good enough, of course, but right. I'll probably be able to do a double whammy here, knock the slug out. There's your slug. And knock the punch out. And there's the third one. Oh, there it is, the third one. So that's 3 ways that you can make an hole in a coin for coin ring making. Like I say, none of them are the right or wrong way. Right, well, that was my 3/8 worth of how you can punch an hole in a coin to make a coin ring with one of my coin ring punches. Like I say, there's the coins. No difference in the coin when you punch them, whichever way you punch them. But I think you probably saw that the arbor press and the vice are a much harder way to do it. The vice, I don't know why anyone would do it other than if you're going to go back to the old way of hammering it down the mandrel, which is what I did when I started making coin rings. Not advisable. It's it can be very painful on your wrist. But the arbor press, it's quite possible to do that. Generally, it depends what sort of arbor press you've got, of course, but you need a bit more leverage on it than you get with the original bar in it. I did do it before with the original bar and I found it very difficult. It's not easy with the stainless steel longer bar I've got in there, but you can do it. And since I've had that arbor press, I much prefer that for the next stages of the ring making. You get a lot more control. So I'm a bit up in the air which one I would advise anyone to get if you're starting out. Punching the hole is an awful lot easier with an hydraulic press. Making the coin after you've punched the hole, I think, is not so much easier, but you get a bit more control of what you're doing with the arbor press. So you have to make your own mind up. In an ideal world you have both. So if you want to win this little coin ring punch, it's second hand now. Haha. Probably cut that bit out. is all you got to do is send me an email. Now hopefully, now my editing skills are not that great, but somewhere, I should point everywhere I suppose, somewhere on here is going to be my email address. If you just email me, put me in the hat and your name and your full name, like Cliff Early, not just Cliff, Janet Brown, not just Janet, put your whole name in it, and I'm going to be putting the names in a hat and I'll be doing the draw for it the last weekend of August. So this is the August giveaway and it's going to be this coin ring punch. I would appreciate it if you subscribe, and if you do want to go in the draw you should subscribe. For one, I need your subscriptions, and secondly, if you subscribe and ring the bell you'll get notifications when I put videos up. They won't all be about the giveaway, but then at least you won't miss the draw. So hopefully that was of interest to someone. Might answer some questions about anyone who's thinking about doing it and how you can punch an hole. It's not essential to have a hydraulic press, preferable, but is it? Because I think the arbor press is better for forming the ring. Probably in the next video I will just carry on and do some of the forming on these, just to show you the cones and that I make, that I sell, and just taking it on to the next stage. I have done other videos on coin ring making, so there is videos you can watch right the way through of how I do it. And like I say, there's no right or wrong way to do anything in this game. It's what suits you and what you're comfortable with. But that's it for now. Look forward to seeing you last weekend of August, if not before. Thanks for watching. Again, just send me an email. Just put in the email, put me in the hat and your name, so I know what your email's about, because I can be a bit of a div. And we'll do the draw and I'll see how it goes. I'm sure it's worthwhile putting your name up, because this channel ain't that popular, so you probably won't be up against that many people. You've got a good chance of winning it. Ta-da for now. See you again soon. Thanks for watching. Ta-da.